Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Yerushalayim on a sunny 80-degree day. It's absolutely beautiful here. So this week's Parsha is Parshat Tazria. My brothers are into Parsha. And as I spoke about last week, this time of year, this Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, this is the time of renewal, right? It's time to hop back onto the mitzvah horse if you fell off, right? This is Hashem's giving us an opportunity to start over, to start anew. So, to start off this week's Parsha, the first two psukim bring a case, right? And it says if a mother gives birth to a son, right? The mother is now going to be tameh, she'll be impure for the next 7 days. And then on the 8th day, her son will get circumcised. He'll have a bris. So I learned Rabbi Moshe Feinstein every week on the Parsha. And for the book of Vayikra, for Leviticus, he has such amazing ideas. So in this week's Parsha, he says, what's the connection between 7 and 8? Why the mother only becomes pure after 7 days, ritually pure after 7 days, and the baby gets his circumcision on the 8th day. What's the connection? So he says, really, it's all about chinuch. It's all about education, this week's Parsha. And more on that, this week's Parsha is all about a concept called saras, normally referred to as leprosy in English, but it's famously caused by lashon hara, by speaking badly about other people. Now, how is it possible that someone comes to speaking badly about other people? Because they had bad chinuch, they had bad education growing up. That's what leads to lashon hara, to speaking badly about other people. But back to the mother and the baby, right? So what's the connection that the mother is impure for 7 days and on the 8th day the baby has the bris, right? It's all because the first 7 days, the mother, right? I can't speak from experience, but I would like to believe that the week after a mother gives birth, she's quite uncomfortable still. So for those 7 days, it's not possible that she could teach her newborn baby anything, really, right? Especially about Judaism. That's not a thing we do. We don't teach when we're impure, spiritually impure. So therefore, on the 8th day, once the mother becomes pure, then she could start teaching and nourishing her son for the rest of his life, God willing. So, really, what can we take out from that, right? What can we learn from that? So, I like to connect it to Pesach, to Passover. And we see that on Passover, we were taken out on Tet Vav, on the 15th of Nisan. So, many people say, when did the Jewish nation become a nation, right? And they answer at Har Sinai, at Mount Sinai, when we received the Torah. Now, I'm about to say, I agree to disagree. I agree we became a nation at Har Sinai, but when were we born, right? When were the Jewish people born? I like to say this Shabbat on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the 1st of Nisan. That's when we were born, when we received our first mitzvah to keep Rosh Chodesh. And then 15 days after that, then we were taken out of Egypt. So for my proposal here, there's one problem. If we were born on the 1st, then why weren't we taken out on the 8th day, just like the son has his bris on the 8th day? What's going on here? So the answer is in this week's Parsha. 2 psukim after, it talks about the mother giving birth to a son. It talks about the case where a mother gives birth to a daughter. And when a mother has a daughter, she's ritually, spiritually impure for 14 days. Not 7, for double the amount of time. Now why, that's a separate idea. But she's spiritually impure for 14 days. So we see that, let's say, instead of the Jews being the son of God, the Jewish people, let's say we're God's daughter, right? It makes so much sense logically. When a parent is usually more compassionate to a child, it's usually a daughter, right? And we see that this aspect, it fits in if you apply this. So let's say the Jewish people are God's daughter. Therefore, when we were born on the 1st of Nisan, when we received our first mitzvah, our first ability to get closer to God, to Hashem, right? Then therefore we have a 14-day period after of waiting. And on the 14th day we bring a korban Pesach, just like the mother after 14 days brings a korban chatat to purify herself. On the 15th day, we were taken out of Egypt. It was Yetziat Mitzrayim. So it works so beautifully. It's absolutely amazing. Now, lastly, how do each and every one of us apply that to ourselves today? Well, this Shabbos, when it's the 1st of Nisan, when it's Rosh Chodesh Nisan, we shall remember that we're receiving our first mitzvah ever. We're being reborn, right? It's renewal. It's the time of renewal. This is a chance for all of us to start over. And with that, we should internalize the fact that now we have an opportunity to get closer to Hashem through mitzvah, which is our entire purpose. So on the 1st of Nisan, God is telling us, guys, you have 14 days to really internalize that you are my people, that we are God's people, right? And our purpose in life is to connect to Hashem. So for all of us, we have 14 days of connecting to Hashem in a way that we don't have throughout the rest of the year. And then, hopefully, in 15 days from the Shabbos, on the 15th of Nisan, each and every one of us, with God's help, will have our own exodus from Egypt. And with that, I wish you all Shabbat Shalom.